First, I just want to say greetings. Thank you for coming. I am Kathleen Jefferies, and I'm pleased to welcome everyone to Love Stories. This is our first community program of 2024. I serve as the Vice President of the Unitarian Universalist Animal Ministry Board. Also attending are several of our board members, and if they'd like to raise their hands so people can see that they're here, that would be terrific. There are many people who have helped behind the scenes, many of you here who have spread the word and invited your friends and family to this, and we appreciate that. Before getting started, I would also like to acknowledge that two people in particular, Nathan Brassfield, who has promoted our program. Oops, I'm getting more people coming in, so I was hoping not to have to do that. Nathan has promoted our program on social media, and Julie Arnold, who has created a lot of our media, and she will also be monitoring the chat and the Q&A today to help us out. So that Nathan and Julie. The program again is being recorded and will be available for viewing in the future. So I know there are people who aren't here. I think the People's Choice Awards are on, the NBA All-Star Game is on, so I appreciate everybody taking the time to come today, but do share when it's posted. My role as moderator here is to watch the time and keep us moving so that we have time for discussion after the 20-minute heartwarming and info-packed video. The mission of UUAM is to bring awareness and knowledge to the larger community and to emblaze the value and of inherent dignity of all living beings and to provide support to those who share our values. Two of my dear friends join us to further this shared mission. I met today's guests at the Sanctuary for Rescued Farm Animals, where we all worked in various capacities. John Burton and Emma Schwarz, whom you will meet in a few minutes, are the creators of the film we are going to watch. Together, they are Veganography, a business they formed to share the stories of those who are often unheard. You can see we share the same mission here. Their influence goes well beyond the films they have created and shared with the world. Love Stories, the film we are about to see, has been viewed by thousands around the world, online and in person at several film festivals. After the film, we will have about 30 minutes to discuss and share our opinions and ideas. As you watch the video, please note your reactions to the various relationships and conditions of the stars of the film, who represent several species, from turkeys who want to sit on your lap to those lovable giants weighing a few thousand pounds, including humans who are somewhere in between. So grab your snacks. We're getting ready to start the film. I'm going to turn it over to John and Emma now, and they will
I love the way you look at me.
I love your curiosity.
I love your hugs.
I love your licks.
With you, I am forever transfixed.
If I love you in this way,
How could humanity have gone so far astray?
The resolution lies within 3 C's.
Compassion.
connection,
And community. It is no longer
A dilemma.
We must all act.
through ahimsa.
Young love. It is a love that is so overwhelming, you can't bear to spend one moment without the other. Love that is so intense, each minute you spend apart feels like an eternity. The moment Samantha saw Lucky, she was enchanted. She did not move her eyes from him. She was instantaneously and passionately in love. Their love is continually blossoming with their moments together. Lucky, an adventurous, athletic young soul, finally found in Samantha the love which he has never known. The love of another cow. Samantha and Lucky have the affection, attention, and the tangible touch of a fellow cow. Their young love is so rare because cows are rarely allowed the opportunity to fall in love. Lucky and Samantha now get to stare into each other's eyes for hours. They spend their days licking and hugging one another in sincere adoration. Their fiery and all-consuming passion for one another is the epitome of young love.
Every mother knows that indescribable, visceral, all-consuming love for her child. It is distinct from all other loves. It is the most everlasting, unbreakable bond between two beings. Devi gave birth to Lakshmi on a brisk December evening. Lakshmi was born into a world in which mothers are used for profit. Mothers are forcibly impregnated beginning at 2 years of age, when they are still babies themselves. They carry their babies with the natural motherly desire to raise their children into adulthood, to teach them how to clean themselves, how to relate to others, how to be a mother or father themselves one day. Every mother loves her child with such intensity that is the most selfless, strongest, and unbreakable force of all love that exists. Every mother would travel to the ends of the earth to protect her baby. In this world, babies are taken away from their mothers, many dying from the emotional toll of separation from their mothers in the name of profit. The mother's milk, intended to nourish the life of her beloved baby, is sold as a mere unnecessary beverage. Mother and child are separated at birth, severing one of the most sacred bonds of love, never to meet again, and forever to hold the ache of loss. Now that they have a home at Love and Arms, Devi and Lakshmi curl up together and cuddle in the sun. Lakshmi nestles herself right into Devi's nook. Lakshmi is also extremely playful. She gets the zoomies exhilarated in play and tries to capture her mama's tail in her mouth. She plays with her mom when Devi's trying to rest. She licks her face, nudges her head, and even does little play jumps trying to engage her tired mama. Devi plays back with her too, even using her tail as a teaser toy. Although she will still need to drink milk for the next year, Lakshmi is already trying to imitate her mom in eating hay, sweet feed, and drinking water. She wants to be just like her mama. The love between Devi and Lakshmi is tangible in every moment of their interaction. They are a most precious example of the mother-daughter relationship that exists between all mothers and all babies.
Have you ever met someone who made you feel like they totally and completely understood you? A person whom you recognize within yourself? It is as if the river that flows inside of you flows within them too. Jade came to Love and Arms as an outcast. She had suffered from glaucoma and was partially blind. Jade was bullied and picked on by the other turkeys because of her disability, and her spirit sank to abysmal lows. Due to the rapid progression of her glaucoma, both eyes had to be removed so that she could be relieved of the constant pain. Jade was separated from the flock for her own mental and physical health and lived alone for over a year. She craved companionship, but it was not safe to assimilate her with the other turkeys. It seemed she was destined for a life without friendship. One fateful afternoon, Love and Arms rescued 3 neglected chickens from a backyard farm. One of those individuals offered a glimmer of hope for Jade. Kaylin suffers from severe cataracts and is effectively blind. We saw in both Jade and Kaylin a mutual experience of isolation from others. They both had a physical trait, which they could not control, that inhibited their ability to connect to their peers. They were both untouchables in their previous social groups. They had both experienced the pain of rejection and solitude. Imagine experiencing blindness and navigating through your day all alone. Imagine the loneliness in the dark. Their first night together, the care team found Jade and Kaylin snuggled together, and our hearts were overjoyed. These 2 girls, who had never known true belonging, suddenly found the one person who accepted them as they were. We knew these 2 unlikely friends were destined to be together.
Family is one of nature's masterpieces. It's a group of individuals who care for and love one another no matter what. It's an unbreakable support system. Of course, family dynamics can be complex, challenging, uncomfortable, even hostile at times. But the love never ceases. The love is everlasting. The pigs at Love and Arms are the incarnation of family. As one of the most intelligent animals on Earth, pigs have incredibly complex social dynamics. They cuddle, play, fight, compete, and love together. Felix and Lizzie are the power couple of the family. They decide where everyone sleeps and who has access to the mud pits. As Lizzie's biological sister, Lily also enjoys some status and power in the family dynamic. Garth occasionally challenges Felix, but is always redirected to his rightful place. Athena and Ophelia, who are biological sisters and best friends, usually stay clear of all the drama. They are simply happy to be together. Brinkley, the smartest out of everyone, lives for her clicker play sessions. She loves to learn new skills and show off to the rest of the family. Gilmore is always the last one to wake up in the morning. He is the oversleeper of the group. He also loves to carry his bowl around, ensuring that no one steals his food. Each of our pigs escaped horrendous abuse and neglect. They came to Love and Arms seeking safety from harm, where they had known nothing but violence. At Love and Arms, they found so much more than simply safety. They found love, warmth, and acceptance. At Love and Arms, they found a true and enduring family.
Penelope and Malachi came to Love and Arms together. As far as we're concerned, they've been together forever. Penelope and Malachi are just like a retired married couple. They spend all day together, enjoying their favorite activities of cuddling, walking, and swimming. Malachi protects Penelope from anyone who dares disturb them. Ultimately, the bond of all true companionships is conversation. And Malachi definitely understands this. He talks to Penelope all day long, and she patiently listens. Penelope and Malachi have cultivated a sincere trust and sense of peace with one another over the duration of their relationship. They are true life companions.
Love in Arms is a magical place where all beings are given the opportunity to find love. In their lives before rescue, the residents of Love in Arms suffered severe violence and neglect. Their basic needs for food, water, and shelter were not met. Their needs for safety and freedom from harm were denied. These beautiful beings were given no cognitive stimulation and thus lived lives of quiet anxiety and agitation among many acts of brutality. In their lives before Love in Arms, these individuals could not experience love because they were existing in survival mode. They were living one moment at a time, enduring the abuse in order to live another day, with no hope of finding sanctuary. Against all odds, they found their way to Love in Arms. Each individual now has a place to fulfill all their needs and live meaningful and engaging lives. The Love in Arms care team provides each resident with delicious food and fresh water. The care team diligently cleans and maintains the homes of every resident so that they have a safe and hygienic daily environment. The residents of Love in Arms receive world-class cooperative care in which the care team takes extra time to ensure that every procedure is completed with consideration for the individual's comfort. A procedure that may take 1 to 2 minutes on a conventional farm, where no thought is given to the well-being of the animal, may take upwards of 30 minutes at Love in Arms. The care team is committed to giving every being a loving and positive care experience. The care team and various volunteers engage our residents in clicker play, which challenges them to learn new and exciting skills, such as spinning in circles, ringing bells, and differentiating colors. Clicker play gives our residents the cognitive engagement and learning opportunities they need to live a stimulating and joyful life. This program also gives the residents agency to opt into medical care procedures, such as hoof trimming or stepping on a weight scale. The care team gets to know each individual on an intimate level. They come to understand their dietary and exercise preferences, their place in the social dynamics of the group, and their own unique personality. The residents also get to know the care team. They recognize every individual person by their face and energy. They remember the kindness and love of their actions. The residents build trust with the care team, for they know that they are loved. The care staff of Love and Arms demonstrates their love through every action and every interaction. They provide care to our residents with sincere soul, creativity, and love. The Love and Arms care team is the embodiment of love for all beings. They are the embodiment of ahimsa, non-violence towards all living beings.
In this existence,
Our task is not to seek love,
but to seek and overturn the barriers.
which we have built against it.
When we tear down those barriers,
that made us believe.
Only some beings are worthy of love.
We are given a new view from above.
A new view from above.
From above.
a view that is not an
a
enigma,
view that is not an enigma,
But a view that is blossoming.
But a view that is blossoming
in
in
ahimsa.
ahimsa.
but a view
But a view that is
But a view
blossoming
that is
in ahimsa.
blossoming
In ahimsa.
in ahimsa.
Hope you enjoyed the film, and we're looking forward to a great discussion now. And now's our time to share our ideas about the film. But first, I'd like a show of hands. Raise your hand if this brought up memories of emotional connections you have witnessed or experienced yourself in your life. Quite a few have, and I would expect that of, our, it does seem that nothing goes viral faster than a cute video. I recall a recent post of a German Shepherd who raced every morning to see his donkey friends, and they would be waiting at the fence for him too. So we see this all the time. Yet we view these relationships as rare when really they reflect the rich inner lives that are actually day to day for many. The emotion, the delight, and all the emotions that are often hidden purposely or just not seen in our daily lives. So my second question is, raise your hand if you saw some relationships in this video that were new to you or that you had not thought of before. Anybody? Anything new here? So I think a lot of us have, in our daily lives, we have seen many of this, and it's not that unusual at all. Maybe the thing that we don't see is what's unusual. But to me, this video is heartwarming. It's heartwarming for the adorable animals and their annex and their relationships. And then I have to confess that I actually call all the actors in this video the human, feathered, four-legged, and two-legged dear friends. Now, what is powerful in this video is considering the question and the call to action. Most humans see, acknowledge, and have experienced the emotional relationships among all living beings, the sentient nature of all living beings. Yet, millions, actually billions, of these sentient souls are treated with complete disregard to their desire and right to live the lives that are natural to them. We saw some of that hidden reality in the video also. So how do we effectively share this knowledge to change hearts and minds and behavior that lead to compassionate choices in a more peaceful world for all? These are the thoughts I'd like for you to consider during our discussion. Now, let me introduce John and Emma. I'm not going into great detail here as the list is long and it's already been shared in the newsletter, the flyer, the emails, and on social media. It's a long, long list. John films, edits, and incorporates all the wonderful music for the videos. Emma provides the storyline, and you also saw her in Love Stories. In addition, Emma has written a book that will be released in the next few months and can currently be pre-ordered on Amazon. More on that later. Emma has recently accepted the position of executive director of the International Vegan Film Festival, like she didn't already have enough to do, but there we go. Both are accomplished musicians, and I recently learned that they had an art exhibit. So yeah, I'm sure that we'll find out a lot more during our discussion, because it seems that life is changing daily. So the floor is now open for discussion. I'd like you to please raise your hand if you're interested in speaking, and this will bring you to the top of my screen so we can acknowledge you. And please keep your remarks to, wait a minute, we've got someone else just joining that I have to let in. This will bring you to the top of my screen, and please keep your remarks to maybe 2 to 3 minutes, because we have quite a few in attendance here. And we also want to give Emma and John a chance to speak too. So here we're going to start now. Julie, are there any questions already posted in the Q&A?
Not yet.
We don't have anything yet? Okay. Well, I can start with something that I was thinking about. We moved a year ago to this house, and we had a couple of geese, well, three geese that were in our side yard all the time. And one of them, the younger one, well, we found out later was the young one, his wings stuck straight out to his side. So, and they were here all the time, the three of them. And then, well, you know, it became close to the fall, and I wasn't really sure if they would be able to, you know, migrate. And I'm having moved here from Colorado, I knew that sometimes they needed to migrate. So I contacted a local wildlife rescue, and they said, yeah, they're on our radar, and they know that the younger one was well, I found out it was the younger one. He was the son or maybe daughter of the other two, and they said, yeah, we need to come get him, because they keep coming back, and they won't migrate without him. And so eventually they did come and get him, because then we just saw the two, and then we didn't see them because they did migrate. And just about a week ago, they're back. So these relationships do really occur within, you know, the animal kingdom. And it's always heartwarming to see those. So does anyone else have anything like that to share, or any impressions from the film?
Well, maybe we can start Hi, everyone. It's such an honor to be here with you all today. I'm Emma, and
John.
this is John. And I guess we'd love to start off with talking about the inspiration for the different words that were shown before each chapter of the film. So as Kathleen said, we all used to work at Love and Arms Animal Sanctuary. And one day we were all sitting around kind of sharing stories about different animals that we had witnessed over the past couple weeks or months. And so some of those stories you saw in the film of seeing two individuals show some love and care for each other. So we were all kind of swapping stories and talking about all the different kinds of relationships and love that we witness at the sanctuary every day, because all of the staff is there, especially the care staff, every single day, spending hours and hours outside with the animals and witnessing their interactions. And as we were sharing these stories and talking about these relationships that we witnessed, we all found ourselves using the same word, love, like, oh, Caitlin and Jade really love each other because they were cuddled up together, something like that. And we were describing all these different kinds of relationships, but using the same word of love. And we noticed that as we were talking, English only has one word to describe relationships between other people. We only have one word, love. We don't really have different words to connotate the nuances of different kinds of love. And that really sparked my interest. So I started doing some research on other languages to see if other languages have different words to describe the nuances of different kinds of relationships and different kinds of love. And that just opened up this whole new world of knowledge. It was a huge rabbit hole. And if anyone else is interested, I really suggest going down that rabbit hole, because there are some truly mind-blowing descriptions of love in other languages. And so as I was doing that research, I had these stories in mind. I knew that we wanted to make a film telling the stories of these animals and how they express love and affection for each other. And so I was looking for words in other languages that fit the relationships that we knew and witnessed at the sanctuary. And then those words would kind of act as punctuation in this film. So that's where those words come from. And working at the animal sanctuary, like I said, we are out there, especially the care staff, all day, every day with the animals. You get to know them on a very personal level. It's just like humans. You see their different kind of mannerisms and how they react to certain stimuli. And every one of the animals is an individual and have their own likes and dislikes and personalities and ways that they communicate. And so this film was really based on things that we and the staff had witnessed. We really wanted to make this based in facts that we had seen and observed and seen the residents demonstrate. So this all came from our witnessing of their relationships and how they experience and show love.
Yeah, for instance, the pigs are the perfect example. I mean, just as you can love your brother or love your sister, you can still at the same time find them very annoying. And it can be interesting family dynamics. And that is exactly what is going on with the pigs, especially in the Ohana scenes. They're slapping each other in the face with a bowl, they're chewing on each other's tail, they're cuddling up together. And they all have their particular quirks, like one likes to sleep in. And it was just, it's amazing, like all the different personalities. This same type of thing we see with our dogs. I see some great little thumbnail pictures of your screens with your pets on them, and it's like you can even see in those, like, they have a personality or they have some sort of trait that they're exhibiting in those pictures. And it's just, they call cows grass puppies for a reason. They're just like big dogs.
I've had many instances of seeing animals have these beautiful relationships together. And it actually happened near where I live. I live near a park that has a lake. And there are a lot of geese of different kinds. There happen to be only two African geese. And one of them, everybody in the neighborhood, everybody goes to the park, and they got to know him and all the other geese. And they named him Rusty. And one day, it happened to be Valentine's Day 2 years ago, Rusty was found in the parking lot all by himself, wandering around. He was just like beside himself. And one of my neighbors, who knows that I do a lot of rescue, came to me. Literally, he was in tears, saying, I don't know what to do. Rusty is, we can't find his mate. And we have no idea what happened. There was no evidence of a coyote attack or anything like that. So anyway, we rescued Rusty and kept him overnight, trying to find his mate. We never could. And he was it was clear, if he could cry like with human tears, we would have seen that. Anyway, long story short, we ended up taking him to a sanctuary, where he ended up, it was an amazing thing that San Diego Animal Shelter also had rescued an Egyptian goose, and it was a female. And I'm sorry, not Egyptian, African goose. And they asked the sanctuary to take her. And now Rusty is very happy because he has a mate. And it was only a couple of months that he had to be alone and without his partner. But it was devastating, really, to see what these animals go through. Once they've mated, they've found love, and then their true love is gone. So I just wanted to share that this is, it probably happens all over the world. Well, I'm sure it does, wherever you have, animals that are meeting and mating. So thank you for this beautiful, beautiful film, because to show the relationships between other species is just, it's so important for everyone to see. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for everything you did to rescue Rusty and provide him with a wonderful life at a sanctuary and the chance to find love again and find companionship and that trust and affection with another being. So yeah, thank you for all the work that you did, because you really recognized that all beings need that connection, and you were able to help Rusty fulfill that. So thank you.
Thank you
Julie,
for
I
saying
think
that.
you're next.
Yes, hi. I just noticed it's more of a comment than a question from Lucy Silva, commenting that she felt like the film is attributing human emotions to animals. And maybe if you could comment on that. It sounds like we were already talking about it, but if you want to expand.
Sure. Yeah. So that is a common thing that people feel in response to telling animal stories, and I totally understand that. Like I said before, all of these stories were based on encounters and experiences that we had all personally witnessed between the animals. So if you noticed, all the language was descriptive of their behaviors. So Lucky and Sammy really do stare into each other's eyes like for hours. When we first brought Lucky in, we had to keep him separate from the other cows just to let them get to know each other over the fence, but make sure everyone was safe. And they would literally stand on opposite sides of the fence and wrap their heads around each other and lick each other and stare into each other's eyes for hours. Like, that actually happened. And if that's not love, then I don't know what is,
And
right?
he wasn't doing it with other cows.
No, it was
Really
just
preferred Samantha.
it was just Samantha. So we while I understand that comment, in this film and in everything we do, we try to make everything very factually based. So it's based on behaviors that we experienced and witnessed firsthand and have on film, because we want everything to be a true expression of their experience. We don't want to project our emotions or feelings onto them. I think another thing that along that vein is that love and affection and connection is a universal experience. It's not just a human experience. So when we see those behaviors as humans, we know what that feels like. We know what it feels like to look into the eyes of the person that we love, to wrap our arms around them, to give them kisses. We know what that feels like, and we're observing that between two other individuals who happen to be a different species, but it's a universal experience. So I think that we need to expand our understanding of what love is. It's not just bound to our experience as humans. It's not just bound to language. It's not just bound to ways that we can describe it as humans. Love really is a universal experience, and it can be physically observed. And that's what we tried to do in this film.
I think we're observing some as people are joined with their other family members. Richard, would you like to say something?
Sure. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I wanted to speak because I saw the comment come up earlier in the video about anthropomorphism. And I've given that idea lots of thought, and it seems to me that it's quite anthropocentric, right? This idea that we're the ones that feel, our animals don't feel, anything we put, we're projecting onto them. And as a counselor, when I'm sitting with someone, it's important to me to tune into what I'm feeling as I'm listening to them. And I want to verify, like, is this what they're feeling? But I think it's the same thing. And we've got 2 dogs, and I feel like it's a similar connection. I pay attention to what's coming up in me and have to acknowledge. I mean, I think through this movement, like what Love in Arms is doing and what you guys are doing, we're seeing more and more that we aren't the only animals that feel. And I think we do a lot of relating in that way. I don't know, is this making sense? I mean, I really appreciated what Emma said about taking it down to observable, like it's observable objective behaviors that we're looking at. And I think that helps us support the idea of what this animal is very likely feeling. Anyway, that's my comment. I think we're moving out of this idea of anthropomorphism really meaning so much, this idea of how we're not the only ones that feel. I guess that's all I can say.
Thank you, Richard. I think that that's what a lot of us have observed in so many circumstances that we've been in, and the videos we see, and much of this is hidden from us, and it's hidden from us on purpose, I think, a lot of times too. So anyone else have any experiences they'd like to share? Let me see. Carrie, let me see. Are you? Yeah, okay. I couldn't see your hand because of your background. It blended into your wall. Go ahead.
Well, what a beautiful, beautiful film. We just feel honored to see that. I don't have enough wonderful words for you. Just, it's beautiful. We do a lot of pay-per-view viewing at different events at Veg Fest and various things. And we're always looking for films too that can be a film that people can watch. It's short, but packs a lot in there. You show the realities of factory farmed animals and most animals, but you do it in a way where it's not overwhelming. It just punctuates the story. It's beautiful. And I thank you for sharing that and your observations about animals. I mean, beyond whether people view it as love or what it is, anyone who's experienced observing their own companion animal or a wild animal outside just knows those feelings. We know those, we know that they grieve. We know that they bond with us. And I just think it's a wonderful film. And I look forward to sharing that more. And I'd like to hear more about your plans ahead, or, how we might show this film. Maybe if we want to use it sometime for a pay-per-view sort of event.
That's a perfect introduction into what you're doing, Emma and John. Why didn't you take it from there? And Richard, do you have your hand up for again, or did you?
I don't know how to remove it.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure I wasn't skipping over you. Let's go on and let Emma
Thank
and
you.
John respond to Carrie's wonderful remarks.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Carrie. That really
Yeah.
means a lot. Thank you so much for your kind words. Yeah, you're right that we always want to leave the audience with a message of hope, while also including the reality. But like you said, in a digestible way, we don't want people to feel overwhelmed. We don't want it to be too much so that they look away and don't see it at all. So we want to present the truth, but in a way where it's encapsulated in a story of hope. So we can say, hey, this is the reality for billions and trillions of beings, but here are a few rescue stories of individuals who did escape that reality and who now live a wonderful life and get to fall in love and have companionship and have their children and spend their lives with their children. So we want the audience to feel hopeful. And that is really kind of become like our style of presenting the reality encapsulated in hope. So that, kind of describes what we're doing with our films and content. Like Kathleen said at the beginning, I recently accepted the role of executive director of the International Vegan Film Festival, which is, if you haven't heard of it, it's a film festival based in Toronto, and their entire mission is showing films like this. So presenting films that talk about veganism or animals or environmental protection, kind of all of that realm, so that we can reach people with this message, but also celebrate the work of vegan creatives and creatives working and advocating for positive change through art. And so we were featured at the festival for the last 2 years, and then I just recently became the executive director. And one really cool thing that IVFF does is a world tour screening. So the film festival itself is in Toronto in November every year, but throughout the rest of the year, we give people the opportunity to host world tour screenings. So basically we take the films from the festival and kind of narrow them down to a select few. And then you can host your own events. And then we provide you with everything you need. So you get the films, you get the marketing materials, and then you can kind of host your own event. It can even be as a fundraiser too. So you can sell tickets and you get to keep all of the donations and profits, because we just want these films and this message to get out there to as many people as possible. So if anyone here is interested in hosting a world tour screening from the International Vegan Film Festival, please get in touch with me. I would love to work with you on that. We have a lot of really cool films this year. 2 of them are animated films, and the animation is just incredible. I'm super excited about getting those messages out to people. So please feel free to get in contact with me if you want to host some kind of event like this. You can do it virtual or in person. We would love to work with you on that. So that's kind of how we're trying to get more of this work out there, support more creatives and filmmakers advocating for positive change through film. And I just saw that someone asked, how can we get in touch with me? I will put my email and website and everything in the chat for you.
And I just noticed when I respond in the chat, I'm actually using our handsome executive director's Zoom logon. So even though this name says Kathleen Jefferies, if you see the picture that comes up, it's going to be John Millspaugh, our executive director. So don't be alarmed. Okay. Did anyone else have something they'd like to add to the discussion, experience that they've had, something that they've seen? I can say, like, as you gathered from the film, that I was involved at Love and Arms up until, from the very founding up until last April. I was the volunteer and administrative director. But I remember so vividly a time. I remember the cow situation. Like we brought in Lucky, thinking, this is a great great opportunity for him to be friends with Tito. But the minute Lucky hit there, Samantha was, and they were just, you know, incredibly attached. But I also remember a time where we had one of the residents in the barn who was not feeling well, and all the cows came over and they gathered around and they watched. It happened to be Tony the llama, and we had to send him up to University of CSU, where they have the vet school, and we were getting him into the van for transport, and one of the cows had a tear coming down his eye. I mean, it was just so touching and just undeniable. So, Julie, you have something?
Oh, just in the chat, Lucy Silva asks, so the point of the film is to market veganism? If you could speak to that.
Sure, that's a great question. So, on the whole, we follow a vegan lifestyle, and we believe that ahimsa, nonviolence towards all living beings, is a wonderful way to live, and we do promote the adoption of a more compassionate and sustainable lifestyle. We also believe that we cannot make anyone do anything. We cannot force anyone to change their views. We cannot force anyone to change their choices. And so we are not trying to make anyone be vegan by our content. We are simply presenting stories and a perspective to provide inspiration. And then whatever the audience does with that is their own choice, and we cannot make anyone do anything. What we really want to do is tell stories of animals and individuals to shine a light on their experience in the world and their sentience and intelligence. And then from there, everyone has the freedom to make their own choices.
Yeah, and this concept of ahimsa it's truly beautiful because it applies not only to animals, it's nonviolence toward all living beings. It applies to yourself, you know, nonviolence toward yourself, you know, refraining from negative self-talk, or even putting things into your body that are good for yourself, you know, and nonviolence toward the ecosystem, the environment, the planet. It's so inclusive of everything. And you know, you might have noticed that the word vegan was never even mentioned in the film. It's just purely beautiful stories of love between different beings.
Yes.
And I'll add on to that. That's to showcase the sentient nature of all living beings was my intent in bringing this program too. You know, that was it. So Dave and Eileen.
I want to thank you all for this program and the filmmakers for a beautiful film. To me, the point of the film is to expand the circle of compassion to all beings. And I think that that point comes across loud and clear, at least it did for me. And again, I thank you for that.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Yes,
Yeah,
that's, oh, go ahead, John.
I might add on to that. You know, if you ever have visited an animal sanctuary, a particular rescued animal sanctuary, it's a truly beautiful thing. And if you haven't, please try to make it out sometime, because it's so amazing to go and witness all of these relationships and like feel that energy there. You know, and just the perspective of knowing their past and what they went through, or even what they could have gone through when they got rescued from it, is truly moving. And you will see many individuals there who they have recovered from that trauma and they're living like a beautiful life, and they have all these incredible relationships, and you can tell they're truly happy. There's also other individuals there that are still working through that, and you can sense that as well. You know, they're more standoffish. They're not as trusting. And there's some individuals who just are barely, you know, at the beginning of their stage of healing, and you can sense that too. And it's really a reflection of ourselves, because I mean, we have all sorts of experiences like that we've healed from years ago, or from something from a childhood trauma. We also have things we're currently working through. We have things that maybe we haven't started working on in ourselves. And it's almost like when you go to these sanctuaries, it's like the residents there are a mirror, and you can really relate to someone that you might not have expected. So it's truly a beautiful experience to go visit an animal sanctuary. And if any of you have any stories, like I loved hearing, Donna, the story about the goose, and Kathleen, the 3 geese. It almost sounds like we need to make a documentary about geese now. So I would love if anyone else has stories of individuals that they've seen. We'd love to hear that. Looks like Julie and Richard have their hands up.
I couldn't tell who was first. Richard, you want to go first?
Sure. I wanted to share the story of how after the Marshall Fire, Love and Arms hosted a support group, really, for those who lost their animals to the fire. And there was one woman who couldn't get back to her house to save her 2 cats. And what was amazing, I think it was Marley the cow, correct me if I'm wrong, but just to see her, Marley was down on the ground, and she shimmied up underneath Marley's neck, and he just dropped his head down on her chest, and she was just stroking his neck as she was telling her story of the trauma of not being able to get back to her cats. And I thought, yeah, not only are those animals healing in this space, but they're healing us as well. We go in there, and it's in that connection that's the power of the healing. And just as when we connect with each other, there's such healing that can happen. So just wanted to comment on that. It was so beautiful, just incredibly beautiful.
That really is true. There's something about being in that atmosphere that is just good for one's soul, I think. And I think maybe something that we could do as an organization is to compile a list of rescued sanctuaries around the nation to allow our constituents, access, and to know, where they could travel to have this wonderful experience on their own. Julie?
Yes, just another question in the chat from Iris Williams. How can we show this film? Is it offered through the International Vegan Film Festival?
Yeah, that's a great question. So this film was featured at IVFF in 2022. It is not on the world tour circuit for this year, but if you just contact me directly, I can work with you to help show this film. So yeah, just email me and then we'll all work it out together.
And we will be showing contact information for Emma and John towards the end of our discussion. So we'd love to have more interaction with everyone who is here. Emma, are there any other questions or comments before I was going to throw a question out for Emma? No. Emma, how about telling us a little bit more about your book?
Yeah, so John and I, started out at Love and Arms creating films like Love Stories and telling the stories of rescued farmed animals, which is so wonderful and so rewarding. And we got to spend so much time with the animals and really get to know them. And it was just incredible. And we love doing that. We have a couple of other films along the same line that tell the stories of animals. Recently, we were doing some a project with a nonprofit where we actually traveled around to different animal sanctuaries and gathered the stories there and and are telling those stories through film. So one that we have coming up was filmed at the Butterfly Pavilion. We're just kind of putting the finishing touches on that and telling the stories of invertebrates and their experience and importance in this world. We are also working on a film about bats. We visited Bat World Sanctuary in Texas, and we gathered the stories of the bats there and their incredible importance in the ecosystem, and honestly, just how incredibly cute they are.
It was amazing can you imagine? It was like a classroom sized, filled with 700 bats, all whizzing by you. And it was one of those amazing experiences.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. And everything was mesh in there so that the bats who can't fly can crawl around. And as we were filming in nighttime, we both had our cameras, and there were these bats above us, and they were like this far away, like we were looking into their eyes.
And they have this curiosity about them. I mean,
Yes.
I remember they were just staring right at you, and they looked just like a dog. They're like, why are you in here? That's
Yeah, they were so cute and so curious. And so we both had our cameras, and there were two bats above us, and then both of them, they were hanging upside down, so their face was near us, and then they flipped over to where their head was near the ceiling, and they were hanging down, and then they started peeing on us. And so we actually both got peed on by bats and on our cameras.
yeah, and the set of cameras we were holding got peed on.
The cameras were fine. We cleaned them. It was okay. But that was really fun. So we're currently editing that film as well. So we kind of have some more animal stories coming out. But another thing that we've gotten really into lately is 3D animation. So John took the time to learn a 3D animation software, and we just put out a 6-part mini series on YouTube in collaboration with this social media platform called Vegan FTA. And it's a 6-part mini series. Each episode is like 5 to 8 minutes, and it's all 100% completely 3D animated. And that mini series is based on a book that I have written. It's on Amazon for pre-order right now, and it should be published within the next month or so. The book and the miniseries are called Plant-Powered Persuasion. And that series and book is all about how to be an effective activist and how to communicate on behalf of animals and the planet in the most effective way. Because I think a lot of times, people who are vegan or activists, and myself included long ago, were so passionate about this message and helping animals and saving the planet that oftentimes our communication is overly passionate to the point where it's not really received well, because we're not thinking about how our message is being received. We're just thinking about, I just need this person to know this information. And so in my experience as an activist and working at the sanctuary and as a content creator, I've done a lot of reflecting on how we can best communicate with people. And then I've distilled all of that information into this book. So we kind of formulated a system of communication. It's a very step-by-step process based on research and evidence, because I wanted this to be a really like a guide almost, like a practical guide for how to communicate as an activist. And so this book is just all trying to help anyone who is trying to communicate the vegan message be the most effective communicator that they can be. So again, the book is called Plant-Powered Persuasion, and it is available on Amazon for pre-order right now.
Thank you, Emma. Did anyone else have anything they wanted to bring up, or any personal experiences? I think we all have quite a few. I don't want to keep sharing mine, but so another, John and Emma, do you want to share any other exciting things that you have coming up, or are they top secret?
Ooh.
I know they have some things coming up, but okay.
Well, I think we can share one other thing besides everything I just went over. So one really exciting thing that we're getting into is more legislative action. So we've had a couple organizations come to us asking us to create videos to help them pass legislation that aids animals or food justice. So one project that we just completed was in partnership with Bat World Sanctuary. They're trying to get legislation passed in Texas to protect bats from unnecessary extermination. In a lot of states, it's illegal to exterminate bats during their maternity season. Basically, when they have babies, you can't exterminate or exclude bats because they don't want to kill the babies. But in Texas, that is not the case. You can just indiscriminately kill and exterminate bats any time of the year. So Bat World is trying to introduce legislation to at least protect bats during maternity season. And so they hired us to create some 3D animated videos explaining this legislation to the public and why it benefits people and bats. And so that is a really exciting project that we just completed that they will be airing shortly. And then another project is we are working with a nonprofit in the plant-based space to advocate for this piece of legislation called the Add Soy Act. So a lot of people don't know that in the National School Lunch Program, it is mandated to have cow's milk on every single plate. Every single kid that gets a National School Lunch in the program has to have cow's milk. But the issue is that up to 75 to 100% of children of color are lactose intolerant. So the fact that they are being forced to consume cow's milk is actually making them sick. And it's actually contributing to the education gap between white kids and kids of color, because the kids of color are feeling sick all the time. They have to go to the bathroom. They're having trouble concentrating because they're sick because of what's in their lunch. So the Add Soy Act is just trying to get soy milk added as an option into the National School Lunch Program so that it's equally subsidized as cow's milk. So it's not removing cow's milk, it's just giving kids an option between cow's milk and soy milk. And soy milk was recently recognized by the USDA dietary guidelines as nutritionally equivalent to cow's milk. So it's just giving kids an option that they can get all the nutrition that they need without making them sick. And so we are working with a nonprofit to create some campaign videos that will be sent to US congressmen to persuade them to support the Add Soy Act. And all of that will be 3D animated as well.
Great, thank you. Mary Beth?
Yes, hi.
Hi.
Just Dennis, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Just a quick aside, when I was born, I was highly allergic to everything, and I'm old enough that they didn't have any solutions for it until they found me a soy product. Mothers were not nursing babies in my time, so when my mom had me. So anyway, I was in very bad shape from the formulas they had. So anyway, that's an aside. What I got on to say was that I run a pet therapy organization in New Jersey. And I just wanted to affirm the intuitiveness of the animals. We have dogs, cats, rabbits, guinea pigs, mini goats, and mini horses who all do pet therapy for us. And out of the 300 teams that we have, first of all, the testimonials are amazing that come in and how much they help all the people in all the facilities that we visit. But out of the dedicated 2- and 4-legged volunteers that we have, 300 sets of them, 50% of those animals are rescued animals. So we're thrilled to be able to give them a job that they love.
That's great work. Thank you for facilitating the connection between animals and humans and helping everyone heal. That's wonderful.
I'm sure they're enjoying all the attention. Julie, did you have something again?
Yes, Cynthia Anderson asks, what is the exact title of the animation series on YouTube?
Yes, so so the channel that aired it is called Vegan FTA, like vegan and then FTA, 2 words. And the series is called Plant Powered Persuasion. And if you just search Vegan FTA Plant Powered Persuasion, it'll come up, and just look for my face.
Yeah, she's on
I'm
the
up there.
thumbnail.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we really got into this 3D animation concept because it's such an interesting, unlimited way to show information. You know, with filming, it is, I mean, with love stories, for instance, it was so much fun to be out there filming, you know, the residents all the time and capturing these beautiful things. But, you know, animation also opens up a whole new possibility of showing, you know, different type representations of information or different concepts. We've both been incredibly impacted by some of the animations and, you know, the documentaries that we've seen. So we really wanted to focus on more of an animation style for this series. And it's not, we actually place Emma within the fully 3D animated environment. So she's interacting with things, you know, she's lighting fires, she's producing statistics, all these type of things. It's a lot of fun. So, and we try to make it very fast paced and engaging, you know, just to keep people's short attention spans going. So might take a watch or two, but it's a lot of fun, and we love anyone's feedback if you watch through it as well.
Yes. And I just thought another thing, we have the entire series linked on our website, so that might be easier to just go to our website, and then you can just click on episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll put that link in the chat as well.
Yes, and that's a perfect lead-in because it's about time for us to wrap up, unless, one thing I wanted to mention, vegan FTA, it's vegan for the animals, and for those who aren't familiar with vegan FTA and what it means. And a reminder, it's, we're all here for the animals, and every bit that we can do is helpful. Every step, every decision we make, every time we spend our time or our money, we're making decisions that we would hope that people would try to expand the circle of compassion. So. Did anyone, before I close up our discussion, does anyone else want to jump in with anything? I don't want to cut anybody off. No? Well, I'm going to share my screen. This is the first time I've ever hosted something like this, so please excuse it if it gets kind of jumpy here. But I've got a couple of final slides, and that will allow you to get the URL for John and Emma, and also for the UUAM. So seeing no hands up, I'm going to switch over to that very quickly. Here is the information people have been asking about. It's veganography.org, and you can see the beautiful book there. And actually, I mean, I'm kind of hoping that we can perhaps use some of our persuasion to get Emma to perhaps join us for a book club and a discussion with the author, if that would be something that people would be interested in. So we'll see if we can get that going. So it's veganography, and you can see they have several URLs here that you can access. And of course, you can check with me anytime, and I'd be glad to connect you. And let me see, make sure I've got. Okay, and here is our UUAM information. So we really hope that you'll stay in touch with us. Go to our website, uuam.org, to sign up for the newsletter, which is full of interesting articles and information on upcoming events. And we do hope to have many more events if these are well received. You can contact us to start a local chapter, become involved in other ways. We are a totally donation-supported 501c3 organization, and appreciate your financial support to continue our outreach and work and programming. And so here is the information here to all of these, whether it's the newsletter, the donation, or just reach out to us. I'd love to hear suggestions for programs that you might like to see in the future. And we do have something else coming up in the spring when you're thinking about planting, and that's planting for pollinators, which is going to be presented by Chartrina White of the Butterfly Pavilion. The exact date is not set yet, but if you get on the newsletter and be in touch with us, you will be the first to know about that. I'm really interested in the planning for pollinators. Some of our most unseen beings, which we rely on for the food we eat, and the beauty of our planet, are the most unseen, and they are the pollinators, and they are really our unsung heroes. Our organization realizes that there are many aspects that people might be interested in that, also support animals, whether it's, our own health, which is important, the health of our planet, and of course, the lives of animals. And I would just like to end our session tonight by thanking everyone for being here, and just say, may we all live in the spirit of ahimsa, which is nonviolence towards all living beings. Thank you so much for attending tonight. We appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for being here.